showdown, over the waves. A high-stakes confrontation unfolds as Iran's fiercest jets challenge a formidable U.S. carrier group. The world holds its breath as a crisis is narrowly averted, but the tension lingers, a stark reminder of how quickly peace can teeter on the edge of chaos. It was a calm, bright morning in the northern Arabian Sea. The sun rose, slowly, casting golden hues across the endless blue expanse. The gentle rhythm of the waves seemed to promise another routine day at sea, far from the world's troubles. Aboard the USS Theodore Roosevelt, one of the most powerful and advanced aircraft carriers in the U.S. Navy, hundreds of sailors and officers moved with practiced efficiency. Some checked equipment, others fueled jets, while a few shared quiet conversations over steaming mugs of coffee. Every person had a role, and every action contributed to the ship's readiness. Yet, beneath the surface calm, an uneasy feeling lingered. The vast ocean could be deceiving, its tranquility often masking the dangers that lurked just beyond the horizon. For those aboard, the peace was fragile, and every sailor knew that the world outside the steel decks was rarely as serene as it appeared. Suddenly, the illusion shattered. Alarms blared through the narrow corridors, echoing off metal walls. Loudspeakers crackled with urgent voices calling the crew to action. In the dim glow of the radar room, operators stared at their screens, watching as three fast-moving blips appeared, unidentified aircraft closing in fast. The jets were coming in low, hugging the waves, flying at speeds that left little time to react. They ignored repeated radio calls, their intentions unclear. Instantly, the tension on the ship spiked. Every heartbeat seemed to echo the urgency of the moment. Within seconds, the crew snapped into action. This was no drill. Every sailor and officer moved with purpose, their training kicking in as they rushed to battle stations. The air buzzed with orders and the clatter of boots on steel. It was the start of a high-stakes encounter, one that would test every skill, every ounce of teamwork, and the resolve of everyone aboard the American carrier group. The fate of the mission, and perhaps peace in the region, hung in the balance. Before the alarm sounded, the USS Theodore Roosevelt was more than just a warship. It was a floating city, alive with the daily rhythms of its crew. Sailors moved with practiced efficiency, mopping the vast flight deck under the early morning sun, their boots echoing on the steel. Below deck, others worked tirelessly, checking and maintaining the intricate machinery that kept the ship running smoothly. Every bolt, every pipe, every engine was inspected and cared for, because out here, hundreds of miles from land, self-reliance was everything. The hum of activity was constant, a testament to the teamwork and discipline that held this city together. Above, fighter pilots suited up, their faces set with focus and anticipation. Each flight was a carefully choreographed dance, requiring trust in both man and machine. On the flight deck, deck crew guided jets into position with precise hand signals, their movements synchronized like a well-rehearsed performance. Inside the command center, naval officers pored over flight schedules and mission briefings, ensuring every operation ran like clockwork. Communication was key. Every detail mattered, and every person had a role to play in the ship's complex routine. In the mess hall, the air was filled with laughter, the clatter of trays, and stories from home. Sailors found comfort in these moments, sharing meals and memories, forging bonds that would last a lifetime. Some wrote letters or video-called loved ones, bridging the vast distance with words and smiles. Meanwhile, the ship's captain, a seasoned Navy officer with years at sea, walked the bridge, his gaze fixed on the endless horizon. He understood the value of calm days like this, when the ocean was flat and the sky clear. These rare moments of peace were cherished by all, a brief respite from the ever-present tension of life at sea. Yet beneath the surface, everyone knew that danger was never far away. The possibility of crisis lingered in the back of every mind. Suddenly, the calm shattered, alarms blared, radios crackled with urgent warnings, and radar screens flickered to life. Coffee cups were abandoned mid-sip as sailors sprang into action, racing through narrow corridors to their battle stations. The ship transformed in an instant. Routine gave way to adrenaline, and every second became critical. Training kicked in, and the crew moved with purpose, each person knowing exactly what to do. In the control room, the captain's voice cut through the tension, sharp and commanding. He issued orders with calm authority, directing his team to full readiness. The crew stood at their stations, eyes fixed on their instruments, hearts pounding as they awaited the next command. The entire ship seemed to hold its breath, united in purpose, ready to face whatever challenge lay ahead. On the USS Theodore Roosevelt, life could change in an instant, but it was this very readiness, this unwavering commitment that made the ship and her crew truly formidable. The calm of the open sea was shattered as 3 jets sped toward the carrier group, slicing through the morning haze with a roar that echoed across the waves. The sudden appearance of these aircraft sent a ripple of tension through the fleet, every sailor and officer instantly on high alert. At first, the threat was invisible, just a series of fast-moving blips on the radar screens. Silent, mysterious, and moving with purpose, the unidentified contacts appeared out of nowhere, their intentions unclear. The radar operators exchanged worried glances, knowing that every second counted. The ship's intelligence officers sprang into action, their fingers flying over keyboards as they worked to identify the incoming aircraft. They cross-checked databases, analyzed flight patterns, and relayed urgent updates to the bridge. The tension in the air was palpable, as everyone understood the stakes. On the bridge, the crew's faces were etched with anxiety. Hearts pounded in their chests as they realized what was coming their way. Each crew member knew that a single mistake could mean disaster for the entire carrier group. The first jet was quickly identified as a MiG-29, a small, agile, and deadly fighter, capable of launching missiles with pinpoint accuracy. Its reputation for speed and maneuverability made it a formidable adversary in any aerial encounter. The second aircraft was an F-14 Tomcat, a legendary fighter once flown by the US Navy but now operated by Iran. Its distinctive swing-wing design and powerful radar made it a symbol of both American engineering and Iranian defiance. Seeing it in enemy hands was a chilling reminder of shifting alliances. The third jet was a Su-24, a fast and heavily armed bomber known for carrying a deadly payload of missiles. Its presence signaled that this was not just a routine patrol. These jets were equipped for a serious confrontation. All 3 jets flew dark, with no identification signals or navigation lights. This deliberate choice made them even more dangerous, as it was impossible to tell their intentions from a distance. The darkness cloaked their approach, adding to the sense of menace. As the jets drew closer, the American crew watched their screens in tense silence. Every eye was glued to the glowing radar displays, tracking the incoming threats as they closed the distance. The command center was filled with a quiet intensity, broken only by the occasional terse order. The Iranian planes moved in a tight, aggressive formation, their flight paths precise and coordinated. It was clear they were not simply passing by or conducting a training exercise. Their maneuvers suggested a deliberate show of force, perhaps even a test of the carrier group's resolve. With each passing second, the jets closed in, heading straight for the carrier. No one on board knew what the Iranian pilots were thinking or what orders they might be following. The uncertainty was almost as dangerous as the jets themselves. The carrier group braced for the worst. Alarms were ready to sound, and defensive systems stood by for action. Every eye stayed fixed on the screens, every muscle tensed as the crew waited to see what the Iranians would do next. In those moments, the fate of the entire fleet seemed to hang in the balance, suspended between peace and the possibility of sudden conflict. The bridge filled with urgent voices. The captain ordered all hands to battle stations. Sailors scrambled into position. Sirens wailed throughout the ship. Every gun, missile, and radar was ready within moments. Radio operators sent out warnings on all channels. Unidentified aircraft. You're approaching a US Navy warship. Identify yourself immediately. There was no answer. Instead, the Iranian jets kept coming. On the flight deck, crews rushed to prepare F-18 Super Hornets for launch. Weapons teams loaded missiles and checked their gear. The tension was electric. Each second felt like an hour as the threat grew closer. Back on the bridge, the captain ordered destroyers and support ships to move into a defensive circle. The carrier group was ready for anything. The crew knew the situation could explode at any moment. The Iranian F-14 Tomcat made the first aggressive move. It locked its targeting radar onto the USS Theodore Roosevelt. Suddenly, alarms screamed across the carrier. Pilots in the ready room froze as the news reached them. Without warning, the F-14 fired a long-range missile. It streaked toward the carrier, leaving a white trail across the sky. On the ship, everyone's heart skipped a beat. They had only seconds to react. The missile's signal showed up on radars instantly. Electronic warfare teams jumped into action. The captain's orders were clear. save the ship at all costs. For a moment, time seemed to stop as the deadly weapon closed in. Every crew member felt the weight of the moment. One missile, if not stopped, could cause disaster for the entire carrier group. The carrier's electronic warfare teams worked fast. They used powerful jamming signals to confuse the missile. Destroyers nearby launched special decoy flares and chaff, creating a wall of confusion in the air. On the bridge, officers shouted coordinates and updates. Sailors checked the missile's path on their screens. Everyone worked together, each person playing a crucial role. The teamwork was intense and precise. Suddenly, the missile began to lose its lock on the carrier. It wobbled, veered off course, and missed its target by a wide margin. The electronic countermeasures had worked. Cheers erupted in the control room and on the flight deck. But the threat was not over yet. The Iranian jets were still out there, circling and waiting. The crew knew they had to stay sharp for whatever came next. For a brief moment, the tension eased. Sailors hugged, high-fived, and let out sighs of relief. The captain thanked his crew for their quick thinking and skill. But everyone knew the danger wasn't truly gone. The Iranian jets stayed in the area, watching and circling. The carrier group kept all defenses ready. Every radar and weapon stayed locked onto the hostile planes. In the ready room, pilots waited for the order to launch. The mood was serious but focused. They knew they might have to enter the fight at any moment. The crew understood how close they had come to disaster, and how their teamwork had saved them. The ship's chaplain led a quiet prayer for safety. The whole crew listened, grateful for a second chance. The order finally came. Launch the fighters. 2 F-18 Super Hornets roared off the deck. Their pilots raced to intercept the Iranian jets. The American fighters moved fast, closing in on the MiG-29, F-14, and Su-24. The F-18 pilots sent warning messages by radio and used their own radar locks. They made it clear, turn back or face the consequences. The Iranian pilots hesitated, then turned away. They knew they were outmatched. The American jets followed the Iranians for a short distance, making sure they left the area. The carrier group watched as the enemy planes faded into the distance. No shots were fired, but the message was clear. Back on the carrier, the crew cheered. The threat was gone. For now, they were safe. When the danger passed, the mood on the USS Theodore Roosevelt changed. Relief mixed with pride. The crew knew they had faced a real threat and worked together to beat it. The captain praised his sailors and officers. He spoke about the importance of teamwork, training, and technology. "We're strong because we stand together," he said. Everyone listened, knowing his words were true. As night fell, the ship returned to its routines, but everyone stayed alert, knowing new dangers could come at any time. The Arabian Sea was still a dangerous place. The crew went to sleep, proud of what they had done. They were ready for whatever tomorrow would bring. Their mission continued, and they stood together, prepared for any challenge that lay ahead.